Yeah.
A lot of questions. So first of all, we always hear that it's just a small faction of the Muslim people, these fanatic terrorists, and that Muslims are really a peace-loving people. So if that's true, and then but what you're saying about what goes on in the mosque and what goes on in the Quran, how?
This is a very good question, and a lot of people are confused when they really shouldn't be confused. Simple. Nazism is an evil ideology. Do we all agree about that? Does that mean that every person in Germany was evil? Every German person was evil? No. Communism is an evil ideology. But does that mean every human being in the Soviet Union was evil? No, of course not. Human beings. Islam, especially its Sharia, Islamic law, in my opinion, is evil. But it doesn't mean that everybody who lives in the Muslim world is evil. This is very simple. But I think in order for Muslims to silence people like me, they have to accuse me of, but you're calling all Muslims as evil, or they are all terrorists. Do you mean that everybody is the terrorist in the Muslim world? Of course not. But the ideology promotes terrorism. Their own prophet says, I have been victorious through terror. So if 10% follow the prophet, we're in trouble. 10% of 1.2 billion Muslims is a lot. So 10% of Germany, if they were all Nazis, is a lot. 10% of the communist Soviet Union, if they were following the communist propaganda, it was going to be bad. So that is the problem. So this idea of saying, but not all Muslims are terrorists, it really doesn't matter. Muslims who are moderate are irrelevant because they're silent. Yes, sir. And then.
You talk about this hatred from Islam to Judaism. I know that there is a lot of hatred between Islam and Islam, like the Shia and the Sunnis. Maybe you can explain it better because I never could understand what is the beef between these two groups.
I'll tell you what, this is very important because when you teach hate in any ideology, it eventually comes home to roost. When you base your whole ideology on rejection of a certain group of people, eventually you become hateful even within your own family. And that's why anger and hate in Islam starts in the family. It's not just between Shiites and Sunnis. You have the way they treat their children, the way they treat their wives. Their priorities is completely upside down. Because jihad is the number one duty of a Muslim man. So to be loving to your wife, and the country tells you, come and do jihad, and you say, no, because I want to be with my kids, and I want to love my one and only wife, then you're not a good Muslim. Then they shame you. Oppression is not just on women, it's on men too. Because men are expected to sacrifice their whole family for the jihad. And that's why they smother them with 4 wives. So they are fed up and they go blow themselves up. Honest, it's true. The way, in my second book, I have the Muslim marriage contract. The Muslim marriage contract, this is I translated it, it's right there. It asks the girl, the bride, if you're a virgin or not. Because if you're not a virgin, you will go back to your parents, your family, the groom will take his dowry back, and the family will kill her. And then at the end of the contract, before the groom and bride sign, it asks the groom, please name an address of wife number 1, wife number 2, and wife number 3, if any. So a Muslim man can fill these 3 spaces anytime after the marriage. There is no loyalty expected from the man to the wife in Islam. It's not like the covenant in Judaism between the husband. It's not a covenant. It's a buy-sell contract. Here's the dowry. I get you, and I can have 3 more anytime. So there is no loyalty from the husband to the wife. There's only loyalty from the wife to the husband.
Good system.
Yeah, for a flirt, a man who wants to have fun. But you know what? This doesn't last. They turn the family life becomes very full of anger, full of dysfunction. The children see their father go to another house with another set of children. It's not healthy. And it's a mess. So the anger is not just between Shiites and Sunnis, it's within the Islamic family. The whole system is defective. And it's just another faction. They're both very radical. They are both for jihad. They're both for honor killing. So it's not like one is more tolerant than the other. And frankly, if I were American, I really don't give a damn if it's Shiites or Sunni. They're both bad ideologies. So who cares? They're both bad ideologies. Look what Iran wants to do with Israel. Look what the Muslim Brotherhood is doing. The Sunni or Shiites, they are doing the same thing. Yes, sir.
So, isn't it that grew up in the 50s under Gamal Abdel Nasser? How do you explain Anwar Sadat wake up one morning and say, you know what? Yeah, I am devoted to the Quran, but I am going to have peace with Israel. Now, if you ask Israelis, they will tell you that this guy decided, not because he loves Israel so much, only because Israel was so strong.
Yeah.
And he decided that why fight? So how do you explain, not you personally, but
no, I understand.
How do the Egyptian people that have your philosophy about the Quran and what the Quran does to the Jews, how do they explain Anwar Sadat?
I'll tell you what. In Islam, first of all, that's a very good question. Under Islamic Sharia, a Muslim head of state must do jihad against non-Muslim countries. He must never have true peace. But he can lie and pretend to have peace with enemies of Allah for a little bit. But what happened is Sadat really meant the peace. And that's why he was assassinated. Under Islamic Sharia, the job of the Muslim head of state is already defined. It's not his choice. A Muslim head of state must do jihad against non-Muslim countries, must never have true peace with them. And when Sadat did that, he violated Islamic law. When Sadat signed the peace treaty with Israel, he told his confidants, he told them, I know I'm signing my death warrant. But he was such a patriot, he wanted to do the right thing.
So Sisi today
Yeah.
is in danger.
Of course. It's not just Sisi or Sadat or the King Hussein or King Fahd or any Muslim leader who truly wants peace with Israel and wants to use the word forgiveness will be immediately an enemy of the state of Islam. Just like me. Huh? There is no end except with the solution is as follows. There is a solution. I'll tell you what the solution. The solution happened already in history. Islam was weakened, the Ottoman Empire collapsed, and the British and the French ruled the Middle East. During that time, the Jews lived in peace, the Christians lived happy, there was peace, and women had the women's rights movement for the first time. Because Islam weakened, the Ottoman Empire weakened, and not only weakened, the British and the French were the great equalizers. Everybody lived in peace for a very short period of time, 70 years. After the British left, and after that was in the 50s, when the British left, the Jews were kicked out. We had the wars with Israel. After the British and the French, we got into wars with even the British and the French over the Suez Canal, and they became our enemies. Islam was revived after death. Islam was dead. Was revived by what? By petrodollars. Saudi Arabia discovered oil. And the West, instead of baby drill in America and in Alaska, we have plenty of oil. No, let's drill there and give them our dollars so they can revive Islam and come do a terrorism against us. Build mosques everywhere. We are insane. We give them the petrodollars to come to fight us. And until today, our government is against building one refinery, against building one pipeline. And they are telling us we're going to kill the birds and the bees. We're going to kill the caribous in Alaska. How come the camels in Saudi Arabia still exist? They're drilling right and left there. How come the fish in the Red Sea and the Gulf, it's all full of beautiful resorts for all of Europe go on vacation there. I don't think drilling is hurting the whole Middle East. The lifespan of the average Arab now is so much higher than before. So they're lying to us. They're telling us if we drill in America, we're going to hurt the environment. We're going to hurt the birds and the animals. We are going to die from... How come? The Middle East is the most drilling area in the world today. And they have the highest lifespan ever. Their animals are fine. Their fishies are good. Their camels are fine. So this is a big lie perpetrated against the American people. And wake up, because there is a deal between the Arabs and the politicians in America. Don't drill in your country, because if you drill in America, we're going to be bankrupt here. And they give, through other organizations, donations to political campaigns to go against drilling in America. There is some kind of treason going on in favor of Islam right here in America. Yes. Yeah, the gentleman, and then...
So I have a question. So Americans live in a kind of a bubble where it's hard to believe that there's this religion, because religion is seen as this good idea or spiritual connected to God. Americans live in this bubble where it's hard to believe that there's a religion that preaches evil and hate and killing. How would you think is the best way to explain to Americans in a way where they don't shut themselves off thinking this is fake, this is real, they're spreading lies? explaining what Islam truly is. Like, what is the best way to explain it?
I think the environment inside the United States today is shaming anybody from discussing or criticizing Islam. We have an environment that never happened before in the history of America. In America, they used to, criticize anything. They used to criticize Christianity. I think they still criticize Christianity and Judaism today. But Islam, especially after the Obama administration, has become taboo to criticize. And it is taboo, by the way, under Islamic law. Under Islamic law, if you leave Islam, you must be killed. Under Islamic law, if you criticize Islam, you must be killed. This is known. There are people today in jails getting killed because they criticize Islam. It's a well-known fact. So we have a president in America today who went to the United Nations last year or the year before and made a speech after the video and the Benghazi scandal. He made a speech that brought such fear inside me because according to Islam I must be killed because I left Islam. And our President Obama, said the following: whoever criticizes the Prophet of Islam will not, what did he say? The future does not belong to anybody who criticizes the Prophet of Islam. This statement by President Obama scared the hell out of me because this is exactly Sharia law. It means that there is no future. No future means a dead person for people who criticize the Prophet of Islam. This is Sharia law. Under penalty of death, you criticize Islam, you're dead. But he said it in a way. So we are living in a time in America where Sharia's rejection of criticism of Islam has become the norm, and our media is advocating this, the leftist media. They are calling anybody who criticizes Islam Islamophobe. This is a religion that kills people who leave it. What kind of religion? Can you believe it if Pastor, one of the famous pastors, give a name.
Graham.
Huh? Yeah, Graham. Billy Graham goes on the pulpit and says, anybody who leaves Christianity must be killed. By the way, this is what all Islamic leaders say daily in the Muslim world. Can you believe it? And you, in America, you have a very good observation. Your question is so good because in America, we are treating all religions as equal. How can we treat all religions as equal? There were religions in history that did human sacrifice, and they called themselves religion. They used to get the virgins and throw them in the sea so that it rains. I mean, we had in history religions that did that. They really believed that if we sacrifice a virgin, the world, we're going to have, the drought is going to go away. That's how. Are we going to treat this kind of religion equal to Christianity? Not all religions are equal. Islam happens to be a kind of religion that kills those who leave it. It kills those who criticize it. And it's time for us to wake up and not allow it to penetrate here because it's going to be too late. Yes?
That kind of leads me to my question. I've seen you talk before, and everybody here has a like mind, thinks very similar to you, and respects you so well. But are you speaking to the moderate Muslims here in America? Do you do the same type of thing in other communities? besides the Jewish
When
leadership?
I speak on college campuses, I do get some Muslim students who attend. Most of the time they behave themselves, but a lot of times they don't. The problem, leftist students are very much like supporting them. So the problem really, what's worse than Muslim students is the far left in America. Some of them are even worse, the far left. The far left defend them in such a way. I mean, I've seen leftist blonde American girls holding a sign saying, Nonie Islamophobe. Like, what's Islamophobe? What does it even mean? The word Islamophobe means that I'm afraid illogically of Islam. A phobia is illogical fear. But my fear of Islam is not illogical. My fear of Islam is really logical, because under Islam, anybody who leaves Islam must be killed. So I must be afraid. If I'm not afraid of Islam, I'll be crazy. So the word Islamophobe doesn't mean anything. And these educated girls in Ivy League colleges are holding a sign saying Nonie is an Islamophobe. And they think this is the worst crime ever. That I'm afraid of the religion I was born in. And I am afraid. Yes.
Logically you are.
Yeah.
Nonie, right now, today, tomorrow, next week, next month, within the Gaza Strip.
What?
Is there,
Yeah.
Is there any way that a Palestinian in the Gaza Strip can actually stand up and change what is going on there? Is there any way anybody can, from the outside, from the inside? You see, is there
Yeah, I
any-
see some change happening. I see that for the first time, Israel retaliates on Gaza, rightfully so, and I see Egypt, some Egyptians are cheering for Israel. And some of them are cheering, but silently. There is change happening, but it's not going to take one person. One person is not going to change the world. It has to be grassroots. They have to wake up.
How? What
When the Muslim Brotherhood ruled Egypt for 1 year, I think that was a blessing in disguise. Many Egyptians, after 1 year of rule by the Muslim Brotherhood, they discovered what their religion is really about. Social change, cultural change takes a long time. I predict as soon as we stop giving them our dollars for oil, they will have they are not working. Go to the Gaza, nobody's working. Go to Saudi Arabia, they're importing workers. They're importing workers. They are sitting at their cash register selling the oil. Cha-ching, give us your dollars. Let's go build mosques there. Let's go give it to Al-Qaeda. And we are giving money to Gaza. It's self-destructive. We are responsible for that. We should not give money to any Arab country. They have more money than many parts of the world. Instead of saving them their money to use it for terrorism, let them go build Gaza. Now, what are we going to do after this incident? Obama is going to send them $3 billion to rebuild.
Yeah, they built that.
Yeah, why don't we let Saudi Arabia rebuild instead of the Saudi money going to Al-Qaeda? Saudi money is funneled to the terror groups, directly or indirectly. I'm sure the government gets away without making it appear that the government is paying for it. But this is the West is
stupid.
It's not stupidity only. I think it's suicidal. It's worse. It's getting to be, so yes, sir.
I want to commend you for doing what you do.
Thank you.
I think it's extremely important. And about a year ago, I heard the son of Hamas sharing similar things.
Yes.
And you touched it. You said that, you know, everybody that left the Islam should be afraid because he's doomed to be killed. But you said it in a almost a casual way. I know that the son of Hamas is like hiding in different places because he's getting threats. My question to you is, are you getting threats and how are you handling it, really?
I think think son of Hamas, because he lived in Gaza. I left when I was a kid. He was working for Israel when he was an adult against his own father, and so his situation is a bit complicated. And he's Palestinian. I'm not Palestinian. I was born in Egypt. So this is a different story. He, according to them, betrayed them. And he was like working on both sides or something. So I'm not sure. I'm sure he gets more death threats than me. I am sure I get death threats. But you know, I think we are living at a time in America today where Muslims are at their best behavior after 9/11. They are not trying to do any more major assassinations right now, because if they do, they are not going to be brought in anymore. They are going to, the public opinion is going to turn again against Islam and against Muslims. So they are calculating, do we kill son of Hamas and Nonie Darwish and get ruined and turn the tide against us? Or do we wait until we are more in numbers and we can start killing people like that? So my hope is that they are behaving themselves. That's what
Here we have a very favorite crowd, like somebody already mentioned, and with open listening to what you say. How do we get to the Muslim crowds to moderate? Radicals, there is nobody to talk to. But
there is nothing called moderate Islam. There are moderate Muslims, which means they don't want to read what the Quran say. They don't want to follow what the Quran say. But if you're a real true Muslim, you have to be a jihadist. If you follow the religion, that's why I left it. I could not reconcile loving humanity and being a good American and being Muslim. I could not reconcile that. And that's the truth. Yes?
First of all, I'd like to thank you for being so brave.
Thank you.
And we're honored to be here to hear you speak. I have a question in that you see women in the media who are Muslim who defend it.
Absolutely.
Why do you think that is?
Oh, I wrote in my book chapters about this topic. A lot of people think that because Islam oppresses women, in no time it's going to be the Muslim women who are going to revolt and rebel and reform Islam. It's going to be at the hands of the women. I don't believe so. Islam managed to turn women against each other. Islam rewards women who stand up and defend Sharia. If you go to the Arab world, women who are honored in the media are all the mothers of the jihadists, the sisters of the jihadists, the wives of the jihadists. Okay? Who reports the bad girls who don't cover their heads? Who reports them? It's women. Women report on women. You have a dysfunctional system that turns women against each other.